going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a little bit of a mystery video. So actually I have a buddy. He's got a four-wheeler that's sitting in his barn, and he said that it's not running and it's kind of in his way, and if I wanted it, I could come pick it up for 200 bucks. Now, I don't know anything about this quad, and I'm buying this thing sight unseen, but for 200 bucks I just really couldn't pass him up on the offer. So we're going to run over there and try to grab this thing today. So stick around for the reveal and see what kind of mess we are potentially getting ourselves into. All right, so we picked up the four-wheeler. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek. And as you can tell, it is a Honda, which is a big win for us. Let's get this thing home and we will look this thing over and see exactly what we're dealing with and what we need to do. So here we go. Check out what we got today. We've got us a 1986 Honda Fourtrax 250, and as you can tell, this thing is pretty beat up, but like I said, we did grab this for 200 bucks, and I think we've got a lot of potential here. The buddy that I bought it from, he said that it sat for a little over a year, and whenever he left it, it was still in working condition, but the only thing he was having trouble with is that he couldn't get the switch to turn on the neutral light, and because of that, he said he could never get it to run. So we're going to dig into it a little bit today and check out a few things and see if we can't get this thing kind of brought back to life. So let's hop into it. So the very first thing that I want to do before I even get into any of the work, I really want to clean this thing up, because as you can tell, if you look down in here, this thing is just got so much grease and dust and everything just built up all over it. So we're gonna quick pressure wash this thing, clean it up a little bit, and then we'll start working on it. So let's do that. I'm gonna quickly spray it down with some of this purple power. I ran out of my other degreaser that I normally use, but this is what I got. Okay, I guess we won't be doing that because the thing just broke on me, so let me try to find another bottle. So now that we're done washing it, as you can tell, it does have this green spray paint on it, and underneath is the original red color. So we'll have to use some kind of paint stripper to get that off. Let's go ahead and check and see if it's got an air filter on it. Alright, so as you can see, it does have an air filter, but it looks like something's been in here chewing it up, and you can see it down there in the bottom, and it looks like there's been some dirt daubers in there too. So let's get this cleaned out, and once we do that, maybe we'll see if this thing will try to kick over, because it does have a kickstart, and see if it's freed up and see if we can get it to run. Okay, so we got it all vacuumed out. I had used my wife's vacuum. I could not find my shop vac because it's probably in storage since we're in the process of moving, so please don't tell her. But I went ahead and bought a new air filter and a new spark plug because as I was looking down here, I'm not sure what kind of spark plug that's in it, but I went ahead and bought a new OEM NGK spark plug that I know works for this. So we're gonna swap that out too. And I can 100% guarantee that that carb will have to be taken off and went through, but I don't think that there's any gas in here at all. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe put some gas in there and get it to the carb and see if we can't maybe kick this thing over and, you know, really let it run and see if it'll idle at all. So let's do that first before we pull everything apart. So here's the spark plug that was in it. I have no idea if that's the right kind of spark plug for this unit, but let me grab the original one and we'll go ahead and throw that one in there real fast. What I want to do, I know that we don't have a neutral light and our electric start is not working. There seems to be a somewhat new battery in there. So what I'm going to do, since we don't necessarily need a battery since we have this kickstart, I'm going to put some starting fluid in there and see if it'll just pop over before we really get into this thing, because it is such a cheap quad. I'm not really too worried about it. I just want to see if it runs before we start dumping more money into it. So let's do that first. So it does kick over. Let's see if it'll start. Okay, so it did fire off. So unfortunately, like I thought, we are going to have to pull that carb off and probably rebuild it, at least clean it up at the minimum, because it is leaking out the bottom here. And I'm pretty sure that pilot jet is completely clogged because it really won't idle. So the next thing we need to do, go ahead and tear into that carb, get that cleaned up, and then see if we can't get it to run after that. So looking at this, it looks like we're gonna have to take several things off. So since we've already got to pull some of this stuff out, we're just gonna go ahead and pull these racks and plastics off too, because I plan on cleaning that up. So we're gonna do that real quick as well. Well, we finally got our carb off, and as you can tell, this is a key and carb, which is the OEM model for this machine. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this open and see what the inside looks like, and go ahead and throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner and get it all cleaned up and reinstalled. Doesn't look too bad on the inside, but I guarantee those jets are clogged up. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's definitely dirty. Needs to be cleaned up, and I'm sure these O-rings and everything in here will need to be swapped out. So let's go ahead and finish tearing this apart. We'll throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner, get it all cleaned up, and then we'll get it reinstalled on the bike. So we got everything taken apart. We got all of our jets and everything in here. We'll go ahead and drop that in and wash those, and then we'll wash our carburetor second because everything's a little bit too big to fit in here. So I wanted to give you all a quick update. So earlier, whenever we tried to start this thing, when we turned the key on, we didn't have any electric start or anything like that, and the neutral light and everything wasn't coming on. But once I took all the plastics and everything off, I've been able to see all the wiring a little bit better and everything. And coming out of the ignition and everything up here, there's a connection that goes down. Where is it? Here it is. Goes down to two fuses inside here, and I opened up the fuses and I was like, well, maybe a fuse is bad. Well, pulled them out, both of the fuses were good, and I was like, well, you know, what could it be? And I just happened to look, and this connection up here was barely plugged in, and I'm like, surely it can't just be that simple. So I pulled it out, blew it out with air, stuck it back in and connected it. And now when you look, when you turn it on, we've got our neutral and oil light. Oil light goes off, and now we have our electric start. So that's about as simple as it can get. I mean, it took me 5 seconds to find that. So always check with the simple stuff first before you start thinking the worst. But now that we've got that situated, let's move on over to our plastics, and we'll go ahead and get those cleaned up. So this is what I'm going to be using to try to get some of this paint off of here. And all you do, you basically brush it on with a spray paint, and then we're going to go back and pressure wash everything off, and hopefully that'll take majority of this off. We may have to do a couple layers of it, but we'll see how it goes. These guys have been sitting for about 3 hours, and as you can see, all this paint is starting to get pulled out of here. We're going to go ahead and pressure wash these guys real quick, and I will show you the finished product. All right, everyone. So it's actually been a few days since the previous part of the video, and I just wanted to give you guys a final look at this machine and some updates on what we've done in the meantime. In the process, I was moving into our new home and trying to work on this thing, so I didn't really get to film a lot. But in the process, we finished getting these plastics cleaned up. They're not the greatest, but they're definitely a lot better than that nasty green color that they were. We recovered our seat, we got our carb reinstalled, and we got this thing fine-tuned and ready to go. So I'm going to give you guys a quick walk around, and we are going to go ahead and test drive this thing. You guys can see exactly how it runs and how it sounds. All right, so before we test drive this thing, I'm just going to show you guys that we do have oil. So if you look, there's plenty of oil in it, and she is ready to go. Let's go ahead and fire this thing up for the first cold start. Well, I think she turned out pretty good for 200 bucks. I don't think we did bad. Well, got a stick stuck right here. But yeah, for 200 bucks, I really can't complain. I think this thing runs really well. This thing sat for 5 days. I bring it out, starts right up, and it runs smooth. It sounds quiet. No issues that I can think of. But overall, you know, I'm pretty happy with the deal that I made with my buddy, and I think this thing turned out really well. So if you guys like content like this and you like me flipping, you know, little beater quads and doing work to them and getting them brought back to life, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I will try to have more content for you like that in the future. I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time.